Julia, thank you for coming out to see AneticAid. You're at our showroom here in Cleburne, Texas, and we really appreciate it. We hope to familiarize you with our product portfolio today. The product that we're going to look at first here is called the QA3. The QA is short for Queen Alexandria Hospital. That's where they started to develop their product, and they've just kind of carried that through the life of what they do. So the QA, if you're wondering what in the world is QA, that's what that's about. So QA3 is the latest version of their stretcher. This model that you're on is the base model. It's the transport, or patient, as they call it in the UK. And some really unique features with the way that we do it that contrast what you're used to seeing. The first piece is that you'll notice that there's really no perimeter frame. So when you raise the backrest, there's nothing behind it. So the product gets a lot smaller. So if you're in a surgery center setting, spaces can be a big constraint, and a smaller, really highly mobile product really helps. Now that lends itself to a couple differences. If you had a market-leading stretcher here in the US, there'd still be a metal frame here, and the push handles would be here, and you'd be way away from the patient. With our design, you have to have the challenge of the push handles being way up high. That won't work, so we put a second set here. The next feature that's a little bit different than what's in the marketplace is the way we achieve Trendelenburg, so head down if you needed to get somebody head down really quick. The market leader uses two pedestals, and when the bed is all the way down, you can't get it into trend. You have to raise the product up first and then lower one end. Ours is a manual setup that just allows you to instantly go into trend, and it's balanced. I'll have you kind of touch that too, because a lot of times people be like, ooh, manual, I don't think so. So just squeeze this red lever right here, and then just push the stretcher down. And you don't want to walk all the way in, you can get it from here, but if you're in the nursing zone, you can go right or left. Okay, so we'll lock the brake. The low height on our product is worlds ahead of everything else out there. Like, not just a marketing, hey, we're a quarter of an inch. We're to the tune of about 3.5 inches lower than the competition. Next, we'll move on to QA3 again, so everything that we just said. But now we're going to start to specialize the QA3. And off camera, I just showed you the trauma stretcher. Same product, just the elevated x-ray deck for the slot for cassettes. So 705, same height, all that stuff, just more specialized. This product is the same basic structure, but we've taken the specialization to a much higher level. This is a product that's specifically designed for cataracts or eye surgery, head-end access. This product is electric, so all of the functions are electric. And if I can show you real quick here, this plugs in, it's battery powered, but it plugs in and charges at night. So do that. On the eye stretcher, we put it down at the calf area so that it's out of the way of the head end. You can even lower the rail with it, and it doesn't hurt anything. You're still fine. You're still way above the patient. And then when you want to store it, you just collapse it, tuck it right out of the way. So that kind of solves that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's neat. So not only do I have this, I'll let you hold this, but I also have a redundant control panel down here. So typically in an eye stretcher pattern, we don't want to be up there at all. Surgeon is up there, that's his area. This one actuates the skull pivot. So when I lock this on the bed, again, this one allows me to move this joint, the neck, and then this one allows me to move just the skull. So together, I can do anything with the head that I want. Why does that come into play? Well, we give you the best of both worlds. I've got the electric function, but I have a manual override.
Oh, okay.
So you're able to do.
So if you have someone that wants to real quick.
If you want to go fast, or you need to get someone flat in an emergency, or you need to get someone sitting up that they're choking or whatever, you're able to do it with these two levers right here. Okay, Julia, we're going to move along to the QA4. Off camera, we talked about something that we think is important, the warranty. And all the products have the same warranty. First of all, we think that the best value for a customer is a long parts warranty. We would prefer to offer that. So if anything happens to these in the first year, I'm pretty embarrassed. So a lot of companies just have a 1-year parts and labor. We would rather extend that to 3 years, and then we'll train whoever you have working on your equipment now. That seems to work the best. If you don't have anybody, we can always come up with a source, so we can do it both ways. But again, we think the best value is the longer parts warranty. So all of the products have 3-year parts, pretty much bumper to bumper. QA4. This is a complete departure. This is a product all in of itself. The idea is similar to what we were talking about with the eye stretcher. You know, I talked to you about that revolutionizing the efficiency model, and it just changed everything, putting people on wheels. The challenge is, why do we transfer today? We transfer because the recovery room stretchers are great, pre-op and recovery. They're great at that. They're comfortable, they're big, they got safety, they got all that, they go low, and they're mobile. But take them into the operating room and they can't do a thing. Flip, in the OR, that product is great at what it does, but it's very narrow. There's absolutely no safety issue or safety features on it. It weighs 900 pounds. It's not mobile. Totally inappropriate for the other spot. So you move the patient from one functionality that you need in this area to the functionality in that, and then back again. What we've done is created a product where we've blended them both. So in an outpatient setting, there really isn't much that I can't do, okay? And that way, I can give you the same efficiency that we know works in the ophthalmic market on just about any type of surgery and off. But when we get to the operating room, it completely removes. And then that's gone. And what that exposes is what's called the surgical accessory rail. Mm-hmm. That is identical to every operating room table. So if I bring this product in, I don't even bring accessories. Your arm boards, your hand table, your favorite leg holder, your tourniquet, leg pins, whatever you attach to your OR table will attach to QA4 in the exact same manner. If we want head end work, ENT, cataract surgery, anything that needs to be accommodated up here, we do two things. One, we have an adjustable headpiece, but it's also a removable headpiece.
Okay.
Okay? So what that does for us is I can, if I were going to do eye surgery, for instance, I showed you this dual articulating headpiece,
Yep.
same one. With the litter slide, I am now going to move the patient towards the head end, and I'm going to create that same type of surgical clearance over here, even more so, and so we have that huge space again for eye surgery. For ENT, same thing. It's just great. From an orthopedic perspective, that's the only difference. So you're pulling the pad off the OR table. Instead of pulling just the pad, you pull our foot section off. And then you don't have a wall in front of you, because general OR table is not very good for urology and gynecological work because there's a wall. And so if I'm trying to get access here, it's bad. We're completely open, okay? So leg holders, exactly same as what you would use today. If you love yellow fins, if you love whatever model you love, they attach to this in the exact same way. You scoot the patient down like you normally would. You put them up in lithotomy. Mm-hmm. One of the nice things about the head section is, anesthesia is managing an airway. Head moves all the way down here when I move you down there, and this guy can just hang, so I can get much closer. Okay. Now, on top of that, when you start talking about urology and GYN, you start talking about the need for imaging. Mm-hmm. And that's why sometimes you'll need to buy a cysto table, because they're going to, want to see all the way to the top of your kidneys, your full urinary tract, and that gets challenging. Black is radiolucent. And on this particular one, we call this total joint. Radiolucent all the way off the end. So when you add the 14 inches that we go out of the box and then you stick this guy on, you almost have 4 feet. Now for foot and ankle, they love to pull all the way to the bottom They do that because they're used to not being able to get the C-arm in. They don't need to worry about that. But in this case, go ahead. We don't care. And then we have the lateral tilt, because a lot of times they'll want to turn the ankle because it's kind of hard to operate on the side. So they'll want to turn the ankle a little bit with lateral tilt. We can do that. And then this has full surgical accessory rail, because in a total joint, it's the one time where sometimes you need devices that attach in the calf area. So, total joint. This is the only product on earth where I can do a beach position shoulder surgery with no transfer. So why is that important? This device is called a beach chair positioner. Why is it called a beach chair? Because the patient is in a beach chair position. Now, the one thing that you do need to use, and folks already do it when you use QA4, is you need to have a positioning pillow for their knees. And we reverse orient. We put the full length foot section on. Feet go down here in pre-op. And then you get on this product and you're on this in pre-op and recovery. Okay, now, why is that important again? So if you want to do a beach chair shoulder with a traditional method, this has to be set up on an operating room table. Then you got to bring the patient back and you got to ask them to move over. Well, this takes a long time to set up. So you have some OR time that you have to eat up planning for a beach shoulder. With QA4, I can do the work. I'm going to show you how I can do it well, and I don't change your practice. What happens on this is it's as if you've already come into the OR. It's as if we've already set up the beach chair, which eats up time, and you've already been transferred. That's how you start. And then everything after that is exactly the same. So what would happen is you'd lay the patient flat. Anesthesia would intubate, start the airway. They would have this little guy right here ready. And this is no different than what they would do if this were a beach chair positioner on an OR table. So I'm going to have this little guy ready. They buy this headrest from Allen Medical, the elephant folks. And they would slip this under the back of the patient. Exactly the same as what they would do today. Okay, we would sit them up to the operative height. That is when anesthesia would take the airway, and they would make sure there's good alignment. They would make sure that they're comfortable with everything that's happening. With one nut, they just lock it over. They cinch this around the patient's eyebrow, locking them in this headpiece. Again, no different than what they do with a current beach chair positioner. Someone would have good spinal alignment from this end. We'd get the patient where we want. And then everything else, when we're ready to do the shoulder, that comes off. Shoulders in mid-air. So, Julia, thanks so much for coming down today.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciated all the education on your products. And then for our users, you know, everything's already in Equipware. They can find it. But what if, you know, they need to reach out for special pricing? Who can they contact?
So, or questions about how it might work, sure. They can reach me at steve.smargesso.aneticaid.com. So the other way, they can go to our website, and that's aneticaid.com/US. And of course, my phone number, which I'm sure you guys will supply. So.
Yes, we will. Yeah. So. And we can even supply the email addresses too.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks.
We appreciate the partnership and having me out here, talk about your products, and we'll just keep up a good relationship.
I hope you liked what you saw, and we're always excited to try to help.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.